Go away, go away, go away, go away. Welcome to Midsomer Maniacs. I'm Sarah.
I'm Mark. Hey, Maniacs.
How are you doing?
Episode 10. Double digits.
Yes, and we've gotten past the horrible Blood Will Out episode.
Oh, my God. If you are still listening after that episode, we really appreciate it. Just remember off the top that if you let your kids watch the show, they can listen to the podcast. But if the show is too much for your kids, the podcast probably is too.
Well, this episode, which is season 3, episode 1,
yes,
Death of a Stranger, has a lot of boobies in it.
There are boobies.
Well, 2 specific boobies over and over again.
There's just boobs.
Just those 2.
Yep.
In a Polaroid.
Yep.
Yeah.
This episode was filmed in October 99. The Wikipedia entry says it was broadcast the 31st of December, 1999, New Year's Eve, before the millennium.
Okay.
It's the worst night of television ever.
That would be a weird night to air. You'd think it would just, that night would be like full of TV specials, right?
You would think, but which is probably why I only got 5.87 million views.
Which is what, like half of what the previous episode got?
Yeah. I'm not trusting the Wikipedia these days because it says it's directed by Maura Armstrong and Douglas Watkinson. And then I noticed that wasn't the case on the episode. And in IMDb, it's Peter Cregan who directed it and Douglas Livingston who wrote it.
I think we have to trust the credits.
I think so too.
Maybe you should edit the Wikipedia page and correct it.
That would be a full-time job that I'm not really signing up for.
You've already got enough jobs.
I have enough jobs already.
I have to say, I really like this episode.
This is return to form that we needed after the last episode.
There's lots of bodies. There's bodies right away. There's weird people. There's boobies.
I'll tell you what there is, and I'm going to blow this right away. But there is blackmail, murder, and sexual deviancy. It is everything that...
Oh, and don't forget Handbag Henry and his taxidermy,
yes,
too.
Like, it's everything that Barnaby says at the pub that one day.
Yeah, that the country is full of.
Yes, and no travelers. Not that we're anti-travelers. We're anti-traveler episodes.
Yeah, I misspoke in the last episode because in my head, Linda's place in the woods was a caravan, a wagon, and it's actually a train car. Yes. Which is much classier.
It's actually a pretty nice place.
I kind of wonder how it got there.
Well, Thomas dropped it off.
Yeah. Troy shows his age when he goes, oh, it's just like Thomas the Tank Engine. Like, yeah, you're a little kid.
Cold opening, and I know you disagree with me, but this cold opening to me, first of all, 'twas a dark and stormy night.
Yeah.
Is very Twin Peaksy.
I don't see it.
It's got a train car. It's got a muttering old man. It has the chord goes from a major to a minor in the same way
music
that
nerd
Angelo Badalamenti does his chords in Twin Peaks. I say it's Twin Peaksy.
I will leave that to your judgment because you're a Twin Peaks person and I'm not.
Well, luckily she has a giant pair of shears.
Man, those are big scissors.
Like, what does she use those for?
Like, those are upholsterers' shears. They're a good 10 inches long.
Yes.
The blades are a good 10 inches long and about 2 inches wide, if not wider.
They are certainly pokey.
They are serious. And I like Linda, okay? She's this kooky character. She's got that awesome gap in her teeth. She makes me think of the wife of Bath, who also had a gap in her teeth, right? From the Canterbury Tales, because, yeah, I'm that kind of nerd. But I feel like even though this is a better written episode, for some reason, it's like they were limited to how many lines they could give her, but not how many times she could say them.
Yes.
Right? So she just says, go away, go away, go away, go away, over and over again. Like, say something different.
Because the tramp wants in.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know the tramp's secret.
No.
But we'll learn the tramp's
But
secret.
she doesn't say, like, get out of here, leave me alone. She just says, go away, go away.
No.
And that's not the only time that she repeats the same line over and over and over and over and over and over again.
The hunt is what we're presented with after the credits. Mm-hmm. Well, as the credits roll.
And we meet James Fitzroy, co-master of the hunt.
Yes, with his co-master, whose name is MARCIA.
Marcia.
Not Marcia.
She's just a jerk.
And she talks to her daughter-in-law, Kate, and her son, Grahame. And really, everybody's kind of pissy with each other about everything because the baby's not there.
Harry. Like, why would you bring a baby to a hunt?
All the dogs would wake him up.
Now, granted, he's a toddler.
Yeah.
He's like 3.
But still.
But he's got no business being there. He'd just get trampled.
The hunt is a clearly British thing that seems so strange. It seems so foreign.
Well, and in this episode, especially because... So I always kind of thought of hunts as like special occasion things.
Yeah, these people hunt like every 2 days.
Yeah. Troy says, don't they have jobs? Like,
Apparently
I wondered
not.
the same thing. Don't they have jobs?
Well, no, they're rich British people. They don't have jobs.
Well, but just think of the logistics, right? So these people don't all live at James Fitzroy's house.
No.
So they've got a horse that they've got to bring
keep
to
there.
his place every few days.
I guess they're driving around the countryside with their horses.
And though we know the hounds live at his house, we see them unloading them from like a trailer. So they load all the dogs up and drive them across the countryside and then decide where they're going to start and dump them off. I don't know. The logistics of it just blows my mind.
It's another weird example, too, of our dog watched the episode with us. She's not a guest on the podcast. I'm sorry. But all that dog barking, she didn't react at all.
No, she's like, whatever, dogs.
But God forbid a baby hippo or a baby rhinoceros makes a noise, she freaks out.
That's because she's a 75-pound English bulldog. She looks more like a hippo than she does one of those hounds.
She does indeed. And maybe we should put her picture in the show notes.
Fanny. She's our baby. So we've got the Fitzroys, and Sarah Fitzroy, James's wife, is there as well. And we've got the Tranters. These are the two kind of major families.
Yep.
In the beginning of the show. And then we're introduced to Ron Pringle.
Yes.
Who is a former superintendent, well, soon to be former superintendent, who's moved into this village, which is Upper Marshwood.
Yes.
With his wife, Betty. And they're going to spend their retirement in Upper Marshwood.
You know, I really like Betty.
I do too.
She may be my favorite
hug.
character in the episode. She definitely deserves a hug. The tramp is also here.
Yeah.
The tramp from the cold open. And he's buying some Strongbow.
Yeah. In 1 liter bottles.
2 liter bottles.
It's cider,
Man,
right?
4 liters of cider, you're going to be toasty.
He's thirsty.
And the woman who runs the store is like totally mean to him.
She is.
Sandra,
Sandra,
she does a lot in the 2 appearances she's in.
Yeah. Of course, the tramp doesn't do himself any credit there. He's basically jabbering all the time. Ron. I always want to call him Roy. Ron is wearing 5 different plaids in his outfit.
Oh my gosh.
His hat, his shirt, his tie, his jacket, his pants, they're all different tweeds. Like, can you make more of an effort to fit into the countryside?
That's like so broken.
It's really broken. And they're not even all the same color scheme or anything. He's just a try-hard.
Oh,
and poor Betty is there in her apron going,
He's totally like pretty fly for a hunt guy.
No, he's not fly for a hunt guy. He's lame.
Well, that's the whole joke, right?
Yeah,
So.
He's so desperate to fit in with these folks who really have no redeeming qualities.
No, none at all.
And even less as we get to know them. But it's pretty clear he's desperate. So Billy Gertie and Dave, Mystery Dave, are hanging out and they're hassling people at the hunt. And he goes and he has a word with them.
Now, at no point, the first time I watched this on the rewatch, did I catch that his name was Dave.
Yeah.
So there's a point later on in the episode where they say Dave blank, and I'm like, who?
Who's that?
I had to look it up.
Yeah. So Billy Gertie is one guy, and the other guy with the longer, greasy hair is Dave.
Dave.
Who turns out to actually be kind of a nice guy.
And they're kind of bothering Sarah, but kind of, it's not nice, but it's not like abusive.
They're not being vicious.
No.
Right? They're just being gadabouts, layabouts, whatever.
Yeah.
Unemployed Utes.
Ron gets all up in his face.
Yeah.
It's total bullying behavior.
I may not be a cop soon, but I still have friends and blah, 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 blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Like, is this how you're going to ingratiate yourself into the village? Like, you'd think anybody, a cop would know. You don't start by hassling the punks of the village because they're going to hassle you back.
No, you're going to make friends with those people.
Yeah.
I really don't like Ron Pringle.
Well, you're not supposed to.
And then what happens. I'm like, oh.
It's kind of good for Betty, actually. Though the first time I saw this episode, I was really torn because I'd already seen a little bit of New Tricks, too.
Yes.
And in New Tricks, the same actor, let me get his name right, James Bullen.
Yes.
In New Tricks, James Bullen is this, he's still kind of blustery, but he's likable. He's really likable, and his wife is dead, and he has a little memorial stone in his backyard, and he sits on a little bench in the moonlight and he talks to her because he misses her. And so I kind of transferred a little bit about my feeling about that character onto this one.
Yes.
And then he punched me in the face with his idiocy.
Yes.
He betrayed me.
Betrayed by your own idiocy.
Yes. And the tramp is in the woods, so they get the
But then there's this like slow motion hunt through the town.
Yeah.
And it was like the slow-mo doesn't make it look majestic or terrifying. It just makes it look long.
And slow.
Yes.
Meanwhile, though, the tramp is terrified.
He's extremely upset.
He drops his cider.
An open bottle of cider.
Yeah.
And he falls into a ditch.
Which just happens to have a bear trap in it?
Yeah, so about that. Like,
aren't they illegal?
Well, I'm sure they're kind of illegal. I think that's a reference to the poacher that Billy Gertie is. I think that they put them in, like, I've never used a trap like that or never been caught by a trap like that. But I would think that you would kind of put it on the ground under some leaves rather than in a hole.
Yeah.
I would think.
Unless you think the poachers are going to use those kind of ditches as kind of a cover when they're poaching.
I guess, but then they wouldn't set their traps where they're looking for cover.
It's just more evident. No, I don't think that's supposed to be Billy's trap. I think it's Graham Tranter's trap, and he's trying to catch Billy.
Oh, really?
To teach him a lesson for poaching. Remember, he's already been arrested once for poaching.
Oh, I hadn't thought of that.
I think it's just more evidence that the Tranters are jerks.
Well, and that Graham is Looney Tunes.
Loony. Though maybe it's not all his fault that he's so loony, but...
Yes. So the tramp falls in and his leg gets stuck in one of those traps.
Which hurt so much.
He does some screaming here.
Yeah.
But...
then we get Killer Cam.
Branch Cam. And glove cam.
Yeah.
Right? And what happens is he gets beat to death in the hole. Which is the worst, like...
it's a nasty way to kill somebody. To
and
just bludgeon them to death.
Somebody would know that they were killed. Like, wouldn't you want to make it look like an accident or something? Like, obviously he was murdered. Like, there's no question of it.
They could have just let him bleed to death.
Could have.
Which I think probably would have got the hounds' attention if they smelled it.
Yeah, that's true.
But, I'm not surprised. So, we're not ruining anything. Graham is the one who killed him, right? And I would think that even though the hunt party gets sort of separated because Billy's in the woods playing the horn and kind of misleading half of the... No, that's too tonal. That's not squawky enough.
One of our children came in and said, "What is that horrible noise?"
Yeah. But you'd think that people would have noticed that Graham was not with the party and his horse is standing there alone and he's in a ditch beating an old man to death.
Oh, and he'd be covered with blood. But, I'm the guy who says everybody should be covered with blood.
Well, and his coat's not red, right?
It's black.
So maybe it wouldn't show.
Maybe.
I don't know. But his breeches would be bloody, I think.
Bloody breeches.
But that's okay because the branch is bloody. So bloody, it can take fingerprints.
Yeah, that's a bit of a stretch.
Because, wood bark and fingerprints, they go together.
Yeah, and you can just lift it right off that.
Yeah.
Really, it was scrawled on it, Billy Grody killed me.
And then Linda finds him and she's like, oh.
Because that's the great irony of the whole episode is that this is actually the lost love of Linda's life, but she doesn't know.
That's her true love in a ditch dead. And she just seems like annoyed, like, great.
So the Barnabys are in France on vacation.
Ooh la la.
And, by the way, didn't Cully move to London? Nico who?
Yeah, maybe they're not working out or something.
I don't know.
Because she goes on like a 2-day vacation with them before she has to go back for her rehearsals.
And the time has passed here.
Yes.
Because Fitzroy shows up with Sarah, and he's like, oh, we had to write Barney in upper wherever.
Marshwood.
But Ron Pringle figured it all out.
Well, and so we hear that Ron Pringle solved the murder within a week and that Ron is filling in for Tom while he's on vacation.
So it's at least a week.
So they've been in France for at least a week.
So let's say the tramps found the next day and Ron Pringle solves it within a week. So that's a week and a day while the Barnabys are still in France. And even if this is the Barnabys' last day in France.
Well, it's Cully's last day, but it doesn't sound like it's their last day.
It's not their last day. So let's add 2 more days. So that's a week and 3 days. Later on in the episode, after 3 or 4 more days, so we're into a fortnight here, the tramp's body is still in the morgue.
Well, they don't know who he is. They're going to keep him around.
That's true.
They haven't identified the bodies. They got to keep him on ice. Toby's got to, cuddle up with him for a little bit.
How was the tramp's dead body acting?
It wasn't bad. We'll compare corpses at the end of the episode.
Okay. He's there to hunt boar.
Fitzroy's there to hunt boar and
be a boar.
Oh my God. The way he treats his wife, I just want to hit him so much. And it's not just because her name is Sarah. And every time he talks to her, it's like he's talking to me. And I just want to hit him. But how does anybody put up with somebody like that?
He says, on you go, Sarah.
Go on, girl.
Like, he talks to her like a horse.
Yeah. Now, I think he likes his horses better.
Oh, clearly he likes his horses.
So the Barnabys have been in France for a week, eating French food, the best food in the world, supposedly. And yet, Tom comes back, having not eaten any of Joyce's cooking for over a week, and he's got a jippy tummy.
He's got good fooditis.
Is that it?
Because I, for one, don't want Joyce's beef bourguignon.
Bourguignon. So, so you think that his system has rejected the good food?
Oh, it's just too good.
The menu gastronomique.
If you notice in the canteen, he's eating a piece of dry toast.
Yeah, because he's jippy.
Yep. Her Majesty's Prison, Crown Hill.
This is one of those scenes where they are renaming an institution, so they just put a big old sign on it.
Big old painted sign.
Yeah, just smack it right up there. Yeah, Kath Gertie, who is Billy's mom, goes to see him in prison. She brings him the wrong smokes.
Menthols.
Yeah, he doesn't want menthols. And then we see Tom and Troy in the cafeteria, and Ron's there to fill them all in.
Yes.
Right?
I'm having a party tonight for my retirement. You better come and get boozed right up.
In this point, I was trying to decide, and I even watched the scene again because I wanted to see whether Tom looked sick before he saw Ron or only after he saw Ron.
Oh.
Because it could be that Tom is suddenly sick.
Oh, I
because
can
he
see
doesn't
that.
want to go to the party. He wants an excuse to get out of the party.
He's got Ron Pringleitis.
And I think you could go both ways. Yes, he has a very light breakfast on his tray, so maybe he's already feeling jippy. Or maybe that's just what he was in the mood for, and now he's suddenly much sicker than he was. He does look pretty bedraggled. His eyes are a little bit red.
And I got to tell you, Ron Pringle, he's a cop, he's a bully. He does the things that he does. But it drives me up the wall that Troy says he was away on vacation too, and Pringle asks him where he went, and he goes mountaineering in Norway, which I was impressed with Troy.
Yeah.
And then Pringle's like, oh, whatever. You asked. At least have the decency to go, that sounds really cool, even if it doesn't sound cool.
Or wow, that's a much more active holiday than I would want or something. Because I would have thought Troy would have just sat watching X-Files and scratching his butt for a vacation.
But no, Troy had an active vacation.
Yeah. And so Ron says, oh, yeah, we got Billy Gertie for it. We found the branch, the murder weapon, confirmed. We found fingerprints on it. They're Billy Gertie's.
Really, that should be the subtitle of the episode.
Fingerprints on a tree branch?
Yeah.
Like, you can pick up fingerprints off of just about anything, like cotton wool, a pile of sand, fingerprints everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Air. You can get fingerprints out of air.
And then we see poor Ben and Kath Gertie in their kitchen.
And
they're
so sad.
They light this scene. It's just dark, dark blue everywhere, but like this spotlight that's right over the table. And there's two sad people eating sad food, being sad.
And it's just sad.
It is sad. But they live in Sadville, of Sadtown, on the Fitzroy estate.
Yeah.
Which would suck.
Meanwhile, at Kate and Graham's house, Marcia's over to help with the baby, which Kate hates. And she met a friend in town, Tilly.
Mm-hmm.
Wants to know if she can have it like a girls' night out to see a science fiction movie, Silver Planet.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Unless you have a problem with it, in which case I won't go.
Boyfriend bonking.
Yeah. I have never in my life run into an old friend who I haven't seen for a while and made arrangements to go out that evening. Unless they're like in town for one day and I see them and they're leaving, maybe. Otherwise, we got to get together soon. Let's make some plans. We got to get together in a few hours.
Mostly, I live in another country where I grew up from. So if somebody from when I was a kid showed up, I'd be like, what are you doing here?
How did you get in the country?
Yeah. And that night, Ben Gertie goes out, loads his gun, and there's a shot.
Yeah.
We're already into death number 2, and we're only 20 minutes in. Huzzah!
Huzzah! And the dogs find his body.
Yep.
Okay, how do you think he is supposed to have died? When you see his body, he's sort of tummy down, with his head turned, shotgun's next to him, and it's pretty clear, I think, that he's been shot from the front and the wound has kind of exploded from his back. Is that what you thought too?
Yeah, kind of.
So how could that be a suicide?
Yeah,
Who shoots themselves in the belly to commit suicide?
Well, Toby would know, because Toby's back.
Yeah, with better hair.
With better hair, and I would say a better agent. An agent said, you need to be in the back of every shot.
Yeah.
Because Toby, in this scene especially, is just back there, waving. Hi!
He's looking perky, unlike Henry Carstairs, who's just looking creepy.
Henry Carstairs shows up out of nowhere, and I stopped, and I made a note. Who the hell is that guy?
Because he's suddenly just standing there with his handbag.
Yeah.
His man bag.
Well,
it's a body bag, really.
Luckily, Pringle has it all figured out. But we meet Henry Carstairs. There's no suicides in the animal kingdom. Oh, I love this character already.
I love that he wears a tie to go out to look for dead bodies.
Yes. They ask him what he's doing. I'm looking for dead bodies.
Looking for corpses.
So fantastically creepy.
And if you watch, he never blinks. The only time I caught him blinking was as his face turned away from the camera. He sort of blinks. But when he's eye on to Tom, he does not blink.
It's all...
Which I can only think was purposeful.
Henry wide-eyed all the time.
Super creep.
He finds a dead mink the night before, which is unusual. But then he goes into this little soliloquy about that Ben Gertie has met his death in front of the palace of his enemy and the origin of his black despair.
It's quite the line.
That is some serious goth line right there.
Yeah. He's going to go and listen to The Cure.
I tried to find it. There's no line like it.
It's not a quote.
It's not a quote. It's kind of like it. There's a part in Richard III that's kind of like it, but the words are all mixed up. But it's clearly meant to sound Greek tragedy or Shakespearean.
Yeah. And he's setting the scene, right?
But you know, he's a ladies' man.
And he's allowed to look for corpses here because his cousin has given him permission.
Yes, that's Grahame.
And once you've seen the episode the first time, you're just like, dude, all of this belongs to you. It's all yours.
Yes. And we'll get to this at the end. But he is actually the proper owner of the land.
Yeah. And that's why he's wearing the tie.
And
because he's actually Lord of the Manor.
The palace he's talking about is the old guy's hutch.
Yeah.
The tramp's hutch. Now, I had a question. They went and built this hutch because they didn't...
Some scene setter had to figure out how to build a tramp hutch.
And they never go inside it.
No.
No.
I don't even know if there's another side to it.
It's a one-sided hutch.
It may be, yeah. It may be
a one-sided tramp hutch.
It's a hutch facade.
A hutch facade.
But he's got that tree stump for storage.
Yeah. And then Pringle drops
Storage is always an issue in your tramp hut.
Pringle drops another clanger that he's going to see a man about a horse. Oh. No, really, I am. Yeah. I've joined the hunt. We don't care.
Yeah. I'm very special now. Okay. Thank you. Goodbye. Get out of here. You should probably talk to his wife. Wow, Ron, what an awesome insight. We never would have thought of that. He's more Mr. Obvious than Troy is. And he's so self-important. So self-important.
We're back to town, and Dave whistles at Linda.
It's funny how they whistle. I think it tickles her a little bit. And
have you heard about Ben? And he was busy the night before. He got tied up. Oh. Hey now.
Hey now.
And Pringle's in there just causing problems.
That's what he does.
It's just whatever. And we're back to Linda's carriage. This is where Troy makes the Thomas the Tank Engine reference.
And drinks the cordial.
Yes. And
which must be really bad.
I haven't got a TV. Yeah. I haven't got a TV. Another repeated line.
Yeah.
For our American viewers who don't realize what's going on, British people have to pay a licensing fee for their television set.
Right.
And this is all done, as far as I can tell, basically on the honor system.
Yeah.
And so she thinks that they're there to get her for not having a TV license.
Yeah. But instead she invites them in and gives them
elderberry cordial.
Yeah, she's one for like switching moods on a dime.
Yep.
In 1 second, she's screaming at them, go away, and slamming a door in their face. And the next minute, cordial.
Yes.
And she's all smiles.
But she's not an old maid.
No.
Nope.
So she makes money doing needlework.
With her giant scissors.
I would be afraid of those scissors. Mm-hmm. I kind of want those scissors, actually. But I just kept wondering, like, what kind of needlework can you still make money at?
50 pounds of it, apparently.
I know. That's what James pays her later. But, like, what is she doing?
I don't know. It's all in a little bag.
Maybe she's making antimacassars.
I guess. I thought, well, no, I don't know. So Barnaby asks Linda about Billy Gertie, and she says he's a lovely boy.
Yeah.
Brings her a pheasant every once in a while.
He wouldn't kill anybody. He only kills for food, unlike those hunt people.
She likes Billy Gertie, but I'll tell you somebody she doesn't like.
Henry
Carstairs.
She's got to go away again.
Yep.
Poor Henry's out there with his man bag.
Dead man bag. Really, it's a death bag, which is another Twin Peaks reference.
Could just be a corpse bag.
I guess.
For wee corpses.
We mean corpses.
That he keeps in his freezer.
Yes. Marcia wants Fitzroy to go to London to do something, but we don't know what.
You have to go to London. You have to go. I just went. You have to go again.
Barnaby and Troy show up, and they're still arguing.
And then they joke about Handbag Henry. And they think they're so clever. We made a joke about a guy who carries a bag.
Well, let us go into some exposition for information later on in the episode.
You put James and Marcia in the same scene, and the level of ponciness, it's overwhelming. I just want to punch them both.
Yeah.
Because they kind of feed off of each other. And then you find out later that they've like slept together and all this stuff. Ugh. And then it just kind of gets gross.
It's gross.
Ugh.
And then she goes, the excitement of the chase and no satisfaction of the kill.
Yeah, because the dogs are worked up.
You're a creepy lady.
So does that mean that when they have a hunt, do they release a fox to chase?
I gotta think it's different in different places.
Or do they just assume that eventually they'll come across one?
I don't know. I would think that there's probably both. There's probably ones where they actually go out and try to find a random animal to kill. And then there's other ones in which a stock animal is released and they chase
Which
it.
I think is much, much worse.
Well, but in both circumstances, foxes die.
I think they get shredded to pieces by the dogs who are in a frenzy.
Yeah.
So the fact that they can have any kind of stuffed foxes is kind of amazing, because I would think there'd be nothing to stuff.
Is Midsomer the show where the kid gets blooded?
I think so. Later,
Later
after the hunt, they smear blood on their cheeks.
On a child's face.
Yeah, the first time they go on the hunt.
And that's gross. Okay.
And I just kept thinking every time they talk to Henry and like Henry's taxidermy stuff, I just kept thinking about that crappy taxidermy.com site.
Yeah.
If you want a little laugh, go to crappytaxidermy.com.
What are we getting all these hits for?
And because we have such a massive listener base.
Well, we have a listener base at least. We love you all.
We do, but we don't have like 1 million people who are going to go overwhelm crappytaxidermy.com.
No.
But it is funny.
Then we go to the hurdy-gurdies, which I keep calling in my head the hurdy-gurdies.
Yeah, and Kath says that Kate went by their house at 9 o'clock the night that Ben died.
She was going to see her friend
Dave.
Tilly/Dave. How did that even begin? No, okay, we'll get there. Troy makes her tea.
Yes.
He's so nice.
He can be very good.
He's very good, man.
Because she's so sad. Her son's in prison. Her husband is dead. And she probably is going to have to move because they live in that cottage on the Fitzroy estate because her husband was the gamekeeper. And now he's dead. She's probably homeless soon.
Yep.
And knowing Fitzroy, it's not like he's going to let her hang out for very long before he kicks her out.
Well,
he's a jerk.
I have to think that Billy getting out of prison and her probably have a good case against the Fitzroy estate.
That's true. They'll probably be able to stay as long as they want.
And the Trainer estate, too.
Yeah.
We go to Graham's house again. Henry's sleeping. Sarah shows up and talks about the final list of guests for the Founders Night.
Yeah. She drops off a handwritten list that James has asked her to drop off. And you just did what I've been doing, which is confusing Henry and Harry. Harry's the baby, and Henry is the taxidermist.
Yes.
And it's really weird if you get them mixed up in your brain.
Especially with the little fox eyes. Kate's away. She came from the real world.
Yeah, she's not one of them.
Yeah. And it's not Sarah that shows up, it's Marcia. Marcia.
It's pretty clear, though, that Grahame is worried about his marriage, right? Because Kate is kind of drifting away. She's going out at night. She's got friends to visit. She goes to Coston to go shopping, but doesn't find anything that she wants. She's clearly making excuses to be out of the house. And they have Charlotte, the nanny,
who is sort of Irish. She has a brogue in one line and then never again.
No, but she's a good nanny.
Yep.
She's there all the time. And it's clear that Kate would rather have the nanny watching Harry than have Marcia.
Marcia Shaw.
Watching Harry.
Marcia. Her name is Marcia. The only thing I agree with Fitzroy about.
Yeah.
Because he calls her Marcia too.
Then we get...
I wonder if in Flagrante that he had trouble what to call her.
Meanwhile, Barnaby's practicing lines from the importance of being earnest with Cully and delivering them super flat.
Super flat.
Probably because he's worried about the beef bourguignon.
Let's get dinner over with.
Yeah.
Food is not something you get over with.
If it's Joyce's cooking, maybe it is. It's just something you have to live through.
And Troy calls and says he has to come down the moor.
He saves the day.
Joyce once again is pissed.
She goes in the kitchen and like breaks something. She's so angry. She's got an attitude problem now.
Hey, okay, I'm a producer on this show, or a director, or a showrunner. One of those jobs. You know, I haven't been happy with Toby's hair. It's gone through some major changes. What can we do with Toby and his hair?
Muffin hat.
Muffin hat.
Yeah. This is the most dramatic morgue you see in several seasons of Midsomer, too. It's like glass brick wall, dramatic lighting. He's got his muffin hat on. It's like...
He's also in rubbers.
Yeah.
He's in wellies.
Yeah. It's like kind of a Law and Order sort of morgue.
Yep.
It's serious.
They figure out that, first of all, Ben was murdered.
Yeah.
Because of a schoolboy howler. So now a schoolboy howler is, so a howler is a mistake.
Yeah.
And a schoolboy howler is a huge, stupid mistake.
Yeah. Because it's the left hand, right hand. Which hand is the gun in?
Yeah.
Never mind that he committed suicide by shooting himself in the chest or in the gut, whatever.
How do you even reach the... Oh.
It's hard enough to commit suicide with a rifle.
Yep.
Because you can't reach the trigger. It's very difficult. But to put it like against your body and reach it, I think would be pretty darn difficult.
Toby is concerned about Ron Pringle.
Because he's boobed.
He's boobed.
He is a boob. And we haven't even seen the boobs
and
yet.
Barnaby has a little speech here about the killer and that the killer's free. But he kind of likes it, you know, because Ron Pringle didn't solve the case.
Well, yeah. He's not real covert about hiding the thrill of the fact that Ron was wrong. He's got a little schoolboy glee going on.
Okay, Sarah. You're a Midsomer detective.
Yes.
And there's been a murder that looks like a suicide. So obviously, like intended murder, right?
Yes.
Not accidental murder.
Right.
What are you going to do with the forest?
To find the clues?
Yes.
Oh, I'm going to bring in the blind cop squad.
The blind cop squad. and what are they going to bring with them?
They're sticks.
They're sticks
and sticks and a dog.
And dogs.
They've got dogs this time.
Pokey sticks and dogs.
This is not a joke.
We will find everything.
This is not a joke about blind people. It's a joke about the fact that to produce what is perceived as police procedure and being very thorough, they bring in this random group of people, put them in uniforms, line them up like a foot away from each other so they're all still in scene, and give them sticks to look really diligent.
Now, I'm going to say this, and I know that the people who run the official Facebook group listen to this podcast. If we can be one of those dudes in an episode, I will pay for us to go to England.
You want to poke around with a stick?
I would be in heaven.
And poking around with a stick is a legitimate search procedure. I'm not saying that it's not. But when you do it, you don't stand 6 inches away from one another. No. You stand the length of the stick from one another and you sweep it side to side. Right?
Yep.
So you've got like a 3 foot, 4 foot stick, and that's your zone.
But they find stuff. Later on, they
do
find stuff. Ron Pringle has a horse now.
Oh my God, he looks like a total tool.
And Dave has the world's most unfortunate license plate.
It says KKK on it, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
My notes when I saw Pringle on his horse was WTF chin strap.
Yeah. And Barnaby shows up and we find out that Pringle hates Barnaby as much as Barnaby hates Pringle.
I can't get down. I'm mounted. Oh, you're mounted, all right.
It sure sounds funny.
Whoever sold you that helmet has mounted you.
It's okay. Troy will look after the horse.
Yeah. The horse will look after Troy. If you look out the window, it's like the horse is continually trying to eat Troy's hair or something.
But Betty is so nice. She offers to bring Troy something to drink.
Because she's human.
She's a human. Nice. And Pringle gets pissed.
Well, yeah, he doesn't want to be wrong.
I have no idea who the tramp was. Don't go pestering the hunt.
Yeah. And so at this point, it's as if he's retired now. So he doesn't want to be dealt with anymore, except he's going to put his nose in all the time, and he doesn't want to be wrong, so he can't be corrected on anything he did before he retired. So don't ask me for help, except I'm going to pester you.
But his downfall is his tiny bladder.
Yeah.
No.
Because, he pees at parties.
He's a party peer.
Yes.
I'm glad he's not a party pooper.
Yeah, that's right.
Barnaby and Troy are off to see the taxidermist.
Who is very precise about the time of his corpses.
Especially about the lollipop of the taxidermy tray.
Yeah, okay. But the idea of licking a taxidermied fox had better gross you out. Like, what does that even mean? They're the lollipop of taxidermy. I think what he's trying to say is everybody who wants taxidermy wants a fox,
Yeah.
But that's not what a lollipop stands for.
Yeah.
Like they're the vanilla ice cream of the taxidermy world. Maybe.
Or nuts and bolts or something like that.
Yeah.
The paper clips.
Yeah. They're the first item in the collection. They're like the starter, like the training wheels for taxidermy.
And I actually, when I saw this scene,
lollipop.
when I saw this scene, I actually wondered if they kept the fox and use it later on with the Fox Tramp episode, where it's clearly a stuffed fox with a PA in the background going, "Rah!"
Well, and is the fox that he's popping the eyes into, there's some nice folio there, kind of like they pop in. Is that the same fox that's then at the raffle at the founders dinner?
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe they've just got the one fox and they just
Maybe.
keep using it over and over again.
But he's got an interesting theory. First of all, he says, I should have inherited everything.
Yeah, because this is where we find out that Simon Tranter, Graham's father and Marcia's husband, didn't really die so much as disappear, right?
Yes.
And then was declared dead.
And his father, was the one who died without the will.
Yeah.
Right? So there's all this machinations, but in Henry's eyes, he should be inheriting.
Right.
And,
he's
he
not
comes
wrong.
across as a great character because of that, because he looks like one of those people who are always like, well, through this amazing set of coincidences, I should have inherited all that money. Well, no, dude, like clearly you shouldn't have. But it's true here. And he implies that Grahame is not Marcia's.
Yeah. Or that he is Marcia's, but he wasn't Simon's.
It's not Simon's.
I think Henry knows an awful lot and is in some senses kind of satisfied with his little situation. He's got the little cottage. He can do what he does. He makes money with the taxidermy.
He can bring all his lady friends over.
Well, he doesn't have enough money to attract the kind of ladies that he wants.
He's a ladies' man.
But he is a ladies' man.
Yes.
Don't think because he has a bag that he's not a ladies' man.
Yes.
Because that bag is full of corpses.
Yes.
And that's manly.
I guess. Then we have this weird little scene where Fitzroy leaves the house to go to London, I'm assuming, or somewhere. And Sarah has a drink, and it's weird because we're so sympathetic to her later. It doesn't feel right that she takes a drink there.
Well, he sort of storms out, and she immediately turns to the drinks and starts pouring. So it's like she's drinking because of him.
Yeah.
And it's clear that it probably isn't the first time that's happened and that maybe she does it quite often.
I guess. Linda flags down Fitzroy, gives him his stuff.
His 50 pounds worth of needlework.
And then he says, give it to Sarah Fitzroy.
Yeah.
Which is weird because, why would you say her last name like that?
He says, give it to Sarah.
No, I think he says Sarah Fitzroy.
In that scene, Linda has the most amazing yellow boots.
Yes.
They look like yellow Doc Martens.
They do.
She's got some style. It's kind of a Stevie Nicks sort of layered style. But those boots are fun.
Elderly hippie thing going on.
Yeah, at this point, I kind of suspected that the needlework really wasn't needlework, that she was getting money from him in return for something else, like maybe some blackmail or something or other. But then he says, give it to Sarah, so there really must be some needlework that she's actually doing.
I guess. Another shot of the white pokey sticks and the dog, and we're off to Grahame Tranter's house to tell him that the tramp was killed, that Ben Gertie was murdered. Mm-hmm. Grahame was supposed to get rid of that tramp. Marcia told him to.
But he wasn't really creating a problem. And he had that nice hut built. I mean, who would tell him he had to go when he's got that nice hut?
Yes.
And this is also...
I can't say that Linda should go away because she's been there for 30 years.
Yeah. And this is also the scene where he has to give Kate that most awkward alibi that Tom obviously doesn't believe, but isn't going to confirm.
Science fiction film.
I went to a movie. It was sci-fi.
The Silver Planet.
Oh, that's it. That's what it was. Yeah, it was only
Silver Planet.
It was only like 2 days ago, but I've already forgotten the name of the movie.
Yeah.
Tom's like, whatever, liar.
But they had a picture of Simon in Antwerp.
Yeah, why did he go to Antwerp?
Well, what they were doing was trying to imply that he had taken off.
Right.
It's not actually Simon, it's the actor.
It's Michael Darrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they both had 70s porn stashes, so, they were basically twins.
Even the lady had 70s porn stash.
They leave. This has got to be Troy's shining moment in this episode. They're in the car. They're leaving the Tranters.
Yep.
They've just confronted Marcia in her lair, and Troy is so put off by her. He's like, "Name a woman you wouldn't go to bed with for £1 million."
And then he spends the rest of the episode ogling her boobs.
Well, he doesn't know they're her boobs yet.
No, he doesn't know they're her boobs.
But that's it's also when he says in flagrante. What?
Yeah, because Marcia throws Kate under the bus.
Yeah. She's, walk with me and pretend you're looking at the garden.
Yeah, and Barnaby's
Okay.
like, yeah, whatever.
And then she reels out this crazy theory about Kate sleeping with somebody in this really convoluted plot.
Yeah, it's just weird.
What? Okay.
It was just strange.
And then we get to go to the mobile incident room, which we don't get very often. There's few episodes where they roll out the mobile incident room.
Yes.
The police trailer.
Yes.
And they have the results of the pokey stick search. Bottle tops.
And
Bottle caps.
and
Bottle lids.
naked pictures.
And naked pictures. Well, one.
The headless woman.
She's got boobs and a scarf.
That's what she's got.
But later...
But Barnaby wants copies.
Yeah. And Troy's
Copies.
like, oh, we're going to put him in the glove compartment with the candy bars? So we've got a mobile incident room at this point for the search. Because later they go into the village hall and they are all set up in the village hall. It's like they forgot they had a mobile incident room.
It's a number of, it's mobile, so it moved.
No, it transformed into a village hall. It's a trailer. No, it's a transformer. Now it's a village hall.
There's been 2 murders in Midsomer. There's been a hunt, a faked suicide, and lots of ill will and false accusations. It's Midsomer, so what do? You have a big party.
Yeah, of course. Let's get everybody together.
Billy's friends creeping around the house. Dave.
And I think it's perfectly fitting that Ron, who wants to impress everybody, suddenly has to pee so badly that he has to end up out in the yard.
He's got the wee tiny bladder. The wee tiny old man bladder.
But he's so classy, and then he pees in the garden.
But he does a great job of looking like a person who needs to pee.
He does look rather desperate. His eyes are kind of yellow.
Kate's drinking. She takes off, and Grahame follows her.
Yeah.
And
Because he's suspicious.
Yep.
And he sees her in the summer house with Dave. We don't know at that point.
So what order does it go in? No, like, I think...
So Kate goes out.
We almost need a diorama here. Because we have Dave, Pringle, and Grahame wandering around. I would assume that Kate goes to the little summer house right away.
So Dave's creeping around. He goes to the summer house. Kate leaves, goes out to the summer house. Grahame shadows her out.
Yep.
Lurks in the bushes long enough to see her go in the summer house, and then stands outside and sees what's going on. Meanwhile, Ron is peeing in a bush, and when he's done, he sees Grahame walk away from the summer house, so he goes over there and looks in, and then he sees in flagrante, what?
Yes, but we're not shown what it is.
No.
Also in there, I don't know if you noticed, but meanwhile, Henry Carstairs just walks through at some point.
Yeah, because he's just always around, just looking for dead things. Maybe somebody died at the party and I can put them in my bag.
Yeah.
Maybe he was delivering the fox.
I guess
for the drawing.
Maybe.
No, because it's an old fox.
It's an old
like
fox.
an antique taxidermied fox.
So we had a party, so let's have another hunt because it's been 2 days.
Yeah, you know.
Pringle is all smiles, which is weird. And then he sees Dave and he's like, shame on you, fornicator.
Yeah, he gives him a scowl. Because now he's in, right? He's got the horse. He's got the non-lame helmet that doesn't make him look like a tool. And his horse has got the little braids on. It's a hunter. That's why it's a big horse, by the way.
Yes.
And
he's
now,
not big. He's a hunter.
He's one
Those
of the
are
cool
not
kids
different
now.
things.
No, he's one of the cool kids now. He's in.
Yeah.
He's gentry now.
And at the same time, Barnaby and Troy are going to see Linda again, who's all evasive. But that's really not the whole point.
No, she's listening to Puccini and looking at her photograph and reminiscing.
It could be her in the nude, says George. It says Troy.
And then Pringle's horse goes berserk.
Climbs over a wall and kills him.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that Pringle died.
Oh,
I was
suddenly.
Like, whoa!
Just boom, he's dead.
I was like, okay, I feel a little sad for him now.
And this scene gives you a really good view of how good a horse actor and a trainer can be. Because
really,
it must be challenging to train a horse to look berserk, but not be berserk. Because the guy who's riding that horse, we're just far enough away that we can't see that it's not Ron. It's not Ron.
It's not Ron.
But the horse looks like it's going nutsy.
Yeah. And then the horse lies there on top of him.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
Maybe the horse is the corpse of the episode, but the horse isn't dead.
Not yet.
Yeah, they got to kill it, I think.
They got to put it down because I think its legs are broken.
I think its legs are broken.
Yeah. But we find out later it didn't go berserk all by itself.
The 24-hour vet calls Barnaby at like 12:30 at night.
That horse was shot with a dart that made it go crazy and then tranquilized it.
Yeah, I don't like that explanation because we never see the black glove shooting the dart.
Pew, 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 pew.
Right.
Well, and why didn't they find like the little feather dart in the horse's ass?
I guess, I don't know.
So we know now that Grahame must have been out there skulking like the Terminator among the trees.
No,
with
he's
his
on
blow
horseback too. I checked.
So he's got a blow dart gun or a tranquilizer gun in his
just
coat?
Pulls it out and
shoots
pew, pew.
Ron's horses.
Because a gun is really unnoticeable in England.
He must be a good shot, too, to shoot a moving horse.
It's got to be.
So he must have let Ron pull ahead of him in the hunt.
Maybe, yeah. I thought maybe they'd walk together or something and then
He'd
they'd
ride off
slap
and
his rump or something, but no.
Are you talking about slapping Ron's rump?
No, the horse's rump, not
It's
Ron's
not a horse,
rump.
it's a hunter. But I have this image of Grahame smacking Ron's his rump. It's like, well, it's just what the gentry do, you know, it's okay. He smacked my ass, but that's all right. That's what they do. And when they go and talk to Betty, she's upset, justifiably so. Her husband is dead.
But then she turns into Midsummer Lady.
But wait a minute. Before we get to that reaction, she says what he was like after the party. And she says it's clear that something happened at the party that upset him, right? Because he saw Kate and David in the summer house.
But what I mean is that this is another one of those, well, nothing was suspicious, but the break-in.
Oh, yeah. Except, Ron said he saw something horrible that he couldn't talk about. And he was very, very upset. And he
wept in the corner for an hour.
Yeah. But he wouldn't tell me. And that bothers me.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's realistic. Now, granted, Betty is kind of a quiet person. I don't think she's one of those people who would confront him and say, no, you tell me what is wrong.
She's not going to confront him.
But if we went to a party and came home and you were clearly upset about something that happened at the party and you wouldn't tell me what it is, I don't think I would let it go.
Yeah, no.
I think I would be, okay, you need to tell me what is wrong.
I saw something nasty in the woodshed.
Yeah. A little Cold Comfort Farm reference there. Good job.
Absolutely.
There's a movie, if you haven't seen, you ought to see it. It's got Rufus Sewell in it. He's all hunky.
Wow, that movie is fantastic. It has great people in it, including Ian McKellen, not Ian McShane.
Right. It's got everybody in it. And what's her name who's in the werewolf vampire movies? What's her name?
Yes, I don't know.
Cold Comfort Farm, though.
Yeah.
Good
Watch
film.
Cold Comfort Farm.
You should see it. Yeah.
It's good.
If you like Midsomer, you'll like it.
I'm going to get a Ford van.
I saw something nasty in the woodshed. So we know that Ron Pringle's horse was doped. And then Linda goes on some loopity-doo trip.
Yeah, so...
It's like she's suddenly senile.
Yeah. Barnaby's casing the scene. He finds the condom wrapper, but all that
No. It's not a condom wrapper. It's the corner of a contraceptive packet. That's what he says.
Condom is a contraceptive.
He says it's a contraceptive packet.
I guess.
Who would say that? Who doesn't say there was a condom wrapper in there?
I guess Tom Barnaby.
It just opens it up to other possibilities. It might not have been a condom. It might have been a different contraceptive.
And then there's a throwaway line here that's a really funny joke because Troy's like, maybe Pringle saw them at it and they're going to kill him. Like they killed Ben, who caught them at it. Mm-hmm. And the tramp who caught them at it which is the whole plot of the first episode of Midsomer.
Yeah.
So Troy has some grounding here.
Yeah.
And Tom goes, they would have to be the world's unluckiest couple. So then I had this image in my head of the tramp sticking his head up as they were like doing it. Oh, sorry. And Ben, oh, sorry. Pringle, oh, sorry. Most watched doing a couple ever.
Well, if you're going to do your rumpy pumpy in the summer house at the big party, you might get caught. That summer house is like 10 feet away from the back door.
And
go out to the folly.
I know that beauty comes in many forms, but when Kate is kissing him in the reenactment, it's just gross.
It's very much like, let's just smash our face together. And it will be convincing that we're making out. Hey, that's better than thinking about Marcia and Fitzroy.
I guess so. Okay.
But then they're in the village hall instead of the mobile incident room, and Tom gets a fax from Holland.
A facsimile.
Yes. This fax just came in from Holland. It's like from a whole country. Here you go.
The tramp is Simon. Well,
not from the
really,
Antwerp police. It's from the state of Holland, from the country of Holland. And so Marcia has to go and identify the tramp because they're like, hey, we think this is your husband.
Yep.
And she looks at him and she sits down like she's kind of overwhelmed. And she says, well, are you sure? And Tom says, well, how tall was Simon? And she says 5'11". He goes, well, that guy's 5'10".
Match.
It's a match.
I'm 5'10". Am I the tramp?
You're the tramp. Are you
Am I Simon?
Wait a minute. Are you Michael?
Am I Michael, Simon, or the tramp?
You don't have a porn stash. You're neither.
Or a hutch.
Yeah. You need a tramp hutch. But it's as if the height is all the evidence they need. Well, they're pretty close, so that's probably him.
So it's Simon.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Meanwhile, she's going, I don't know. Do they think it's Simon? Do they think it's Michael? If I pretend it's Simon, is that a better idea?
There's a DNA test? I don't know. I've slept with so many people. I don't know whose child it is.
Meanwhile, James is like, I thought I was the dad.
Yes. We'll get to that.
And they're rehearsing the importance of being earnest in the Costin Playhouse.
Yes.
With Cully.
The corn exchange.
And Sarah is in the back.
Just laughing.
And she just loses it.
But I think that's supposed to be the abused spouse sort of overreaction and not dealing well with social situations, because she starts to cry immediately.
She laughs, then she cries. And then Cully, who's like Tom's little spy.
Yeah.
Accidental spy, accidental informant in all these episodes, just so happens to talk to Sarah in the dressing room, who reveals, I'm not one of them. I didn't fit in. She's so like, miserable.
I'm frightened to go home. And then Barnaby goes, do you think she was frightened to go home? And Cully's like,
She gave me that impression.
I was unsure. She said the words.
Yeah, she actually said, I am afraid to go home.
The taxidermist opens the door and there's Marcia.
With $50K.
$50K, baby.
He's blackmailing Marcia.
He can get lots of ladies with $50K.
Or doll's eyes for his minks.
Our business is complete. Fitzroy's off the
And I'm kind of like cheering for Henry at this point.
Yes.
Like, hey, if you're squeezing those losers for money, go for it, dude. Because they are despicable. And you're living in a little, cottage.
Though they missed an opportunity here, right? Because Marcia knows that Henry is the rightful heir. Mm-hmm. And he is blackmailing her. Mm-hmm. That is Midsomer Murder Train to Murder Town right there.
She or he is going to die.
Yes.
One or the other.
So the fact that Henry Carstairs not only comes out of this alive, but with all the loot.
He's winner, chicken dinner.
And $50K.
Yeah, of the whole episode.
Of the money that
is his anyway.
Is his anyway.
Yeah. And then Barnaby and Troy do their big covert driving, and as they follow Fitzroy to the Larches.
Yes.
The retirement home.
Does it larch to one side or
which
larch
is all the way
other?
In London, right?
All the way in London.
They follow him all the way to London.
On country roads. I guess.
Yeah.
No one drives on a highway in this show.
It's too far. Everything's too far.
Your entire country can be driven in 8 hours.
Yeah.
Nothing is too far. I just have this image that people in their manor houses, because you all must have manor houses in England, are sitting there in your manor houses, and you're like, I need some semi-skim milk for the hunt tomorrow. And you're like, oh, it's 15 minutes into town to the post office. No, it's too far. It's just too far. Send the help.
We'll have to take a picnic and make a day of it.
A train ride.
And
I know we live in a continent that is just basically open space. I understand that, but 8 hours.
It's not that far.
It's not.
You can be in France in a few hours.
We cannot drive across the state in 8 hours.
No. They see Fitzroy go into the retirement home, and Tom is like, okay, stake it out. And when he leaves, go in there, find out what he's doing. And Troy's like, where are you going? He's like, I got to go see Linda. I got to go. Because he's realized that the scarf in the boob picture was hanging in
now we think Linda
in the train.
is in the boob picture.
Right. We think that Linda is the boobs, right?
Yep.
And Troy's like, wait a minute, how am I going to get home? And he says, hitch a lift from London to Coston. He's supposed to hitchhike or something.
How does Troy get home?
I'm guessing he calls the Metropolitan Police and asks somebody to give him a ride.
I'm sure. Oh, you're a country copper? Come get me yeah.
Maybe he takes an Uber.
Never mind the fact that he's probably standing outside for 2 hours. Wouldn't somebody call the cops and be like...
Yeah, because he's like standing in the bush.
I'm hiding.
And then, so when he goes in, we meet Fred Rodale.
Yes.
Who is senile. He was the former gamekeeper for the Fitzroy estate.
The day the hounds went mad, they found something, so I had to shoot them. Yeah. I never said. Who are you?
Wouldn't somebody notice if
all the hounds being killed?
Yeah, if an estate like that suddenly had no hounds.
Well, and
we had to put them all down. They got distemper. All of them.
Wouldn't they notice that Simon was dead?
No, because he's run off.
He's run off with his porn stash to Antwerp.
Yeah, to meet with a lady.
A lady. Okay.
Now Linda is still in her crazy phase.
Yes.
So she's at the Coston Playhouse, knocking on doors and asking for Michael Darrow, who doesn't exist anymore.
And this is the night that Kate says, really, this is the beginning of Graham's very bad day.
Oh, Graham has such a bad day.
Because Graham's supposed to be away, so Kate takes Henry.
Yeah.
Harry.
This is Graham's no good, awful bad day.
Yes, Graham's no good, awful bad day.
Kate is going to take Harry out. She says to Charlotte, like, hey, come with mommy. And she's like, where are you going? I don't know. We're just going. I'm going to go pack.
We find out that Linda is all upset because the love of her life, Michael Darrow, was in The Importance of Being Earnest, which is why his picture looks oldie-timey.
Yeah.
And Barnaby puts it all together, that the man in Antwerp is not Simon.
Right.
But it's Michael Darrow.
Because he sees the pictures of them in the cast, because they were both in the play.
Yes.
And he sees the mustache.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
And the fact that the dog bones and the collarbones are found by the Pointy Stick Brigade.
Yep. Now we know there was a human body and not just dogs up there. And we put it all together.
Kate is leaving Graham, at which point he says, why are you, basically, what kind of life will you have with Dave Hedges? To which I went, who?
Maybe his license plate, instead of saying KKK, which I'm sure was purely accidental and not on purpose, should have said, my name is Dave Hedges.
Because
then we would have known.
One place does the woman in the shop, who's in love with Dave,
Sandra,
as soon as she sees Dave, she brightens up.
Right. But she just calls him Dave.
But she goes, Dave. Like, it's the quickest Dave ever. Like, there's no reason. Like,
Dave.
It's not weird that I missed it.
No. And she's leaving. And now Graham's very bad day begins because she's left, Kate's left, and come back without Harry. So she's left Harry somewhere and she's packing.
And Graham threatens to kill her.
Well, he goes through the whole like downslide, right? He starts with, you can stay with Dave as long as you stay with me. I don't care if you sleep with him as long as you don't leave me.
Yep.
She's like, kind of loony are you? That's that's not how we're going to do this. And
meanwhile, Sarah wants a divorce from James.
Yeah. And, Grahame is like, but I just want Harry back. I want you and I want Harry. And at this point, you don't know just how screwed up Grahame is and how screwed up his life has been.
Oh, you're going to find out
and
really quickly.
And you sort of think, wow, Kate's being kind of a jerk. Like, yeah, she can leave him. And he seems kind of desperate and sad. He's so pathetic.
And she threatens to use Harry as collateral.
Right. And then he says, I'm just going to kill you. You can't leave. I'm going to kill you.
Whoa! That escalated quickly.
He's off the cliff.
He is. It's very bad day land.
It's officially bad day now. And Marcia's not even there to make it worse. So,
in an age-old tradition of ditching your husband, Kate uses the au pair to block him and get around him. It's a fantastic move.
Well, when you think your spouse is about to kill you, having a witness can sort of diffuse the situation.
Exactly.
He's not going to kill her in front of Charlotte.
And I have to say that Kate gets the smart person award here because as soon as she leaves the house, she calls Barnaby and says, Grahame threatened to kill me.
Yes.
Which is the right thing to do.
We don't see her do it, but he says she does. And that's when the light kind of comes on and you go, oh, maybe Kate is the same person in this situation and not a jerk, not a money grubber, not a slut like Marcia calls her, but maybe she's the same person getting out for a very good reason.
But Marcia's going to make it all better.
Yeah.
And she called James to come over.
And Sarah's like, I think we need a divorce. And he's like, oh, balderdash, talk to me when I get home. I have to go see this other lady. Bye.
Whatever, I won't be here.
Meanwhile, Graham's
Marcia's
got his
like, she's a slut. Slut.
And he's crying in his mommy's lap. He's like, I just want my wife back and my son back.
She's a slut.
At least he knows that Henry is his son.
Well, and then he goes, Grahame says he saw the pictures.
Yeah.
No, mommy, you're a slut.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Okay. No, I can't imagine. I don't want to imagine.
So when did he see them?
When the tramp threatened to blackmail him.
Okay. So the tramp threatens to blackmail Grahame.
And that's where you see more booby pictures.
And then puts the booby pictures in the trunk to keep them safe.
Yes.
Then Henry finds all but one of them.
And blackmails
Marcia. And then the pokey stick cops find the last one that must have slipped down into the trunk.
I don't know why Henry Carstairs looked at those pictures and go, Marcia, Marcia, Marcia.
Well, I think her face was in some of them.
Yes, the other ones. That's right.
Her face was in some with Michael Darrow.
Yeah.
So James shows up and he's like, wait a minute. I thought I was your father. And he's like, I thought Simon was my dad.
James is completely delusional.
Yeah, like how much has he been helping them out over the years thinking that Grahame was his son?
And Grahame is so upset. He's going to go get sick. And by sick, he means put a gun in his mouth and kill himself.
Like they say that that Ron boobed, but man, Fitzroy has boobed big time.
Oh my gosh, Fitzroy believed Grahame was his son, killed Simon,
which he just admits to.
Yeah. Oh, I killed Simon
because she made me.
She made me do it.
She told me I had to.
Yep. And then
keep your mouth shut, you moron.
There's this really neat way in which this is Barnaby giving explanation and Grahame giving explanation. They sort of fill in each other's holes here. And it's interesting the way it's cut. I like the way it was cut.
Yeah, I think it's a good kind of exposition of the story to kind of clarify the things that we haven't figured out yet while building the tension, because once Grahame is in the study with the gun and Marcia goes in to stop him, and we know that there's a gunshot, we don't know which of them's dead.
Yeah, one little thing right before that, it's mentioned very quickly that Simon was sterile. Marcia's pregnant, and Simon's like, What?
Really?
And so that's why they had to kill him.
But like, how did they find that out? Like, it's just a whole weird situation there. Marcia marries Simon. Simon is the one with the estate.
Yep.
He's sterile.
Yep.
She's sleeping with not only Michael Darrow, but also James Fitzroy.
She gets around. Slut.
And then, and then somehow gets pregnant. Oops. How crazy is that?
Like,
and then Simon disappears.
Okay, if your husband is sterile
If James Fitzroy knows Simon is sterile, wouldn't other people know he was sterile?
Exactly. If your husband is sterile,
unless James is like
and you're
doing
sleeping
tests.
around, wear some protection.
Yeah, and don't take pictures.
No.
That's a bad idea.
Look at my boobies.
Even Kate knows. No pictures, please.
No pictures.
Because then Grahame gives this whole like, oh, so this happened and I had to kill that person. And this other thing happened and I had to kill that person. And this thing happened and I had to go and kill that person.
Thank you for explaining everything to us, Grahame.
Thank you.
It's wonderful. So he goes into the study.
So is Marcia dead?
He's going to kill himself. And Marcia convinces him not to kill himself. So he kills her instead. Yeah, she's dead. She's got an eye open. Like,
and you think he shot her and not just they were wrestling over the gun and she got shot?
No, I think he shot her.
Well, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a pawn his entire life.
Very bad day.
Yeah.
So then this interesting...
His life is so worse than that. The one photo he thinks he has of his father.
Yes.
The only thing he has is a picture of his father with another woman in another city after he's abandoned his pregnant mother.
After he's been told all his life that his father was awful.
And now he realizes the photo he's been looking at his whole life that he thought was his dad is the man his mom was sleeping with.
And is actually his dad, but not his dad.
But not his dad.
Meanwhile, James Fitzroy's in the background going, I killed Simon. She made me do it.
I did that.
So a shot rings out, but Fitzroy is doing the slow, fast walk to leave.
He's like, probably shouldn't have said that. I think Sarah needs me at home.
And Barnaby's like, get back in there.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere.
And meanwhile, Grahame just takes off. So now we have a car chase.
Because he knows that Kate has gone to David's.
Yeah.
And that Harry's there too.
Yes. And he's got a gun.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
This Grahame has fallen completely apart here. His hair is a mess.
And that's a pretty tense situation because he's willing to kill her and their son.
Yeah, that's where he crosses that line.
And Dave isn't just a greaser because he is willing to stand between them.
He does a heroic thing here.
Yeah, in the rain.
Yeah.
With bad hair.
He does. Barnaby shows up and Grahame freaks out. He points the gun at Barnaby and then he points the gun back at them and then he just drops it and runs away.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to shoot a shotgun while running, so he just drops it.
He's just having a bad day.
And then hangs himself outside of Linda's trailer.
Where does he get the rope?
From Linda's trailer. Linda's caboose.
I guess.
From the tack room.
I didn't like that.
Maybe it was already there.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It felt rushed.
I don't think that's rushed. I don't think it's hard at all to find a piece of rope on an estate like that. If anybody would know where one is, he would. And I think he's been on the brink. But he was getting ready to shoot himself, so it's not like a big stretch.
I admit all that, but did he get on a chair and tie the rope up? Or did he climb the tree?
See, you're questioning it too hard. The logistics of that.
Okay, have you listened to this podcast?
But I don't think we can see his feet. So there might be a chair.
There might be a chair.
I think when we just kind of see like knees to branch.
Meanwhile, Linda's like, oh, another dead body. She finds all the dead bodies.
I know. And she's like, oh, great.
And then once again, we have this midsummer trope of now onto happy stuff.
Yeah. Now Sarah's going to go on a cruise.
Marcia would have thought it was vulgar. Well, she was a slut, so.
Yeah, she was vulgar. But there really should be one more scene. There should be a scene of Henry with his puffer coat and his tie and his man bag standing on the roof of the estate like a drone shot, you know?
Yeah.
Just with his arms up in the air, smiling and just spinning around in slow motion. Mine! Mine! Or 10 years later, and we go into the Tranter mansion, and it's just full of dead things everywhere. And he's like, mine, 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 mine. I told you.
And Barnaby's in the background eating steak and chips.
And not having a jippy tummy. So who's the best corpse? The Tramp, Ben Gertie, Ron Pringle, or Marcia Tranter?
I gotta say Ben Gertie.
Why?
Because he's in a weird position and he does not move.
He doesn't look comfortable. He's like half on a log.
Not that any corpse looks comfortable, but he looks really uncomfortable. That and second place, close behind, is the horse.
The horse isn't dead.
I know, but it stays really still.
So I hurt my lower back really bad about a week ago, and I'm still wincing. And when I rewatched this episode and I saw the way Ben was laying, that his torso's like up on the log, but his lower body is on the ground, it made my back hurt just like looking.
It's definitely.
But I gotta say, I think Ron Pringle is the winner of Corpse of the Episode because he's laying face up, eyes wide open.
With his neck cocked.
With a horse on him.
Yeah. He does some good acting.
Doesn't blink. Doesn't move. Doesn't
And the
shift.
tramp in the morgue is pretty good, too.
That's a short shot.
Yeah, but still, it's pretty good.
But Ron is there.
Luckily, he's 5'10".
Full daylight, face up, facing the camera. We get this kind of crane shot zooming up from his face.
Yeah.
And he's full on dead.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. He doesn't have like blood to hide under or anything like that. So I go for Ron.
There's a couple of things at the end of this episode, that need some further, not explanation, but we need to think out what happens next. Mm-hmm. Right? The winners here are Henry Carstairs, like you mentioned, and Sarah. Mm-hmm. Henry Carstairs now goes to the trustees and goes, money, house,
mine,
land, mine. Because he knows for sure now.
There's not going to be a hunt next year.
No.
Next week, in 2 days, or whenever the next one's scheduled.
Kate has her boy toy, but no money. She has her child. Mm-hmm. So that's
I think
good.
she's going to be okay with that.
I would think Henry would take care of her a little bit.
Maybe. She wasn't mean to him.
Sarah has all of Fitz's money, and Fitz is in jail.
Yeah.
He's the only one who goes to jail.
Yeah, because he's the only one still alive who was involved.
Yep. Fitz goes to jail.
He's not going to do well in jail. Can you imagine James Fitzroy in an orange jumpsuit?
When do you have the hunt here?
Oh, we're going to show you a hunt.
Yep. This is such a great return to form after the last episode. We have murder, blackmail, and sexual deviancy.
And characters that are like really fun. They're really weird and crazy and believable at the same time.
Great way to start season 3.
They're interesting.
Maybe not showing it on New Year's Eve before the millennium.
Well, we still have it to enjoy, so it's okay. One little weird fact. This is just a random fact. The actress who played Kate Trainer, her name is Sarah Winman.
Yes.
She's a novelist now.
Oh, she is.
She's got 3 books on Amazon.
That's good.
And they look like they sell pretty well.
That's pretty cool.
So she went on to be a novelist.
That's nice.
And Dominic Maffam, he plays Grahame. He's a pretty boy in this episode because he's so young. He's got all that hair and everything. But I kept looking at him going, where do I know him from? Where have I seen him? He's been in something else where he looks different. And then I finally remembered, and I had to look it up just to confirm, but he plays Stephen Fry's brother in Kingdom. Yeah. His errant brother who's kind of wild. Yeah. But when he gets older, he just gets such a rougher look. He doesn't look like that pretty boy anymore.
His face gets sort of long, boxy.
Yeah, thinner, and he keeps his hair shorter. Yeah. But he's in a lot of stuff.
He's a very busy boy.
Yeah. Yep. But just a little interesting
10 actors in England, you can be busy.
And Toby's got his muffin hat.
He does.
It's a great muffin
This might be the last Toby.
We'll see. Hopefully we won't get the watercolors back either.
No, hopefully not.
So if you disagree with our picks for best corpse of the week, of the episode, let us know.
Or you have any other thoughts on this particular episode or what the jokes we made about it, remember that our Instagram is at Midsomer Maniacs, and our Twitter is at Midsomer Maniacs, and we are at Typewriter and
at IntelliGirl
on Twitter, and we're all over the Facebook groups and all those good things, and you guys have been also fabulous. We had one listener say that the episode that we dropped yesterday on Monday was that it made her Monday.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And I said that made my Monday.
I'm so glad our craziness is actually entertaining to other people.
Indeed. We've passed all sorts of milestones this week. It's been crazy. It's
so fun. It's super fun.
Next episode is episode 2 of season 1, which is season 3. Episode 2, season 3, Blue Herrings, which I love the title of because
it's a good one.
Because it's got blue hair and red herrings, and it's all sorts of fun. And there's a doctor who drives a fancy car, and there's all sorts of retirement home and all sorts of good stuff.
It's great.
And we can't wait to watch that episode and get back to you guys. And I got to say bye, Maniacs.
Thanks for listening. Bye, Maniacs.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, because then you have this idea of like a little taxidermied baby.
Oh, that's too far.
Or of Henry Carstairs, like cuddling up with Marcia in a little onesie or something. He is kind of wee.
Okay, I'll cut the first joke and leave that joke. Oh.
A doll's eyes.
Dead eyes like a doll's eyes. So...
And you want to cut my jokes, and you're talking about what James Fitzroy says during sex with Marcia? And you want to cut my jokes? You want to say my jokes are gross, talking about taxidermied babies?